Is you ready, my brother? Step up to this mic and let's get it.
Make some noise for Domes, y'all. Make some noise.
Hey everybody, my name's not Doms. It's Domes. What is it? Domes Gage is dope, but like...
That boy is good.
What's up, guys? Domes Gage here, and we're back. We're back for another episode of Off the Dome with Domes Gage, episode 15. Make sure to go scroll down a little bit, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And I'm saying that at the top of the episode because I usually wait until the fucking end, and people weren't liking the videos. Then I said it in the last week's episode at the top of the episode, and guess what? People went down and they liked the video. So shout out to you guys. Unfortunately, last week's episode was not my greatest. Or maybe it was. Maybe you guys enjoyed it. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, why is this fucking episode I fucking don't like at all because I'm too high and can't function in it? Why is that the episode that people decide to fucking start watching all of a sudden? It is what it is. So yeah, not as high this week, and hopefully we'll be a little bit more put together. And had to remind myself, tell people to hit the thumbs up at the start of the video because that seems to work. So yeah, hit that like button. Leave a comment, it helps the videos grow, helps people see them, I believe, like getting notified and shit. The more comments and likes and interaction you have on your video is important. So, yeah, that's how we're starting this episode. What's up, guys? We're back for another goddamn week. And I'll tell you what, it does not feel like a week has passed already. I've been living in a fucking haze of smoking weed after not smoking weed for a month. And now I'm smoking weed again. And it is Monday the 11th, November 11th. So it's been 11 days that I've been smoking little bits of weed at a time, trying to get my tolerance back to a manageable level. Because that first week, I was getting way too high to function. Made the bad fucking choice of smoking weed before trying to record the podcast last week and could not think. So I figured out I need to lay back before the podcast, And so yeah, 11 days in. I was talking to my homie. I was like, man, how long is it going to take for me to get my tolerance back to regular to where I can smoke weed without fucking being uncomfortably high? And he's like, probably like a month. And I'm like, oh, so I just have to fucking, I stopped smoking weed for a month. Now I have to smoke weed for a whole month it's like I have to fucking make up for lost time or clean time or whatever. And, anyway, so I've still been smoking like very little amounts, not trying to get too damn high. And also I've been pretty good about not smoking weed until later in the afternoon, later at night, kind of trying to get things done and then smoke weed. Because that first week, it was not helping me do anything, I'll tell you what. It was just fucking... Even if I wanted to do something, it was like I'm just looking at my computer I don't think I could do this right now. So, yeah, I was talking about, I think last week, I was like, man, I really think I'm gonna slow down on the weed and, stop smoking weed. And here we are fucking a week later and I'm still smoking weed. But I do kind of feel like that still. The new year's coming up. It might be a good time for me to just slow down and you know, and that's easy to say when I'm sitting here high. I said that last week too. I was like, man, I was way too high to be talking about not smoking weed anymore, you know? Kind of fucking contradicts myself, but you know, it is what it is. So, yeah. Another week with not too much to talk about, but we're going to make it work. Last week's episode was the shortest episode we've done, so I got to at least go a little bit longer than that one. Or maybe that's why people clicked on it. They were like, oh, this one's only 45 minutes, and I don't have 15 more minutes to watch any of the other episodes. Or maybe fucking YouTube algorithms are just weird and you guys saw episode 14 pop up. Maybe it's the same amount of people watching it, but because I told people to hit thumbs up at the fucking start, it looks like more people are watching it because it has more thumbs up than a lot of the recent episodes. So, yeah. Shout out to everybody listening to this podcast. Listening or watching on YouTube. I appreciate the hell out of it. Anyway, so while I was getting way too high this last week, I did manage to do a couple things. Well, I kind of tend to like not really watch too much TV or like Netflix shows and movies. Like it's very rare that I'll kind of sit down and do that, especially on some like binge watch type shit. I just don't have enough time to put aside or to be wasting just fucking watching Netflix. And this past week of getting way too high, I was like, shit, I'm not doing anything. I might as well fucking binge watch something. And I talked about it, I think a few episodes ago, that I've been meaning to watch that Netflix show called Rhythm and Flow. And it was it's like America's Got Talent, but for rappers. It's like a Netflix kind of reality show. And it was like a rap contest. I don't know if that's really doing it justice, but you get the idea. America's Got Talent for rappers. And the judges are Chance the Rapper, Cardi B, and T.I. And it's bad timing for me to watch it because T.I. just got a bunch of flack for something I'm not even going to bring up on the podcast. So if you guys know about it, you know about it. If not, it's not worth mentioning. So I don't know why I mentioned it at all. Anyway, those are the judges on this show. And I talked a couple weeks ago about the show that I saw, probably last year when they were announcing the show, and the website to submit, like to go fucking audition or whatever, to fill out the submission form and see if you'd be picked to audition. And I had people hitting me up about it, like, hey, you should do this, just like fans and shit that were sending me the flyer or whatever, like, hey, fucking look at this Netflix show, you should do it. And that's totally not my style. Like, it's never been I don't know, it's a kind of weird thing. I don't know how I feel about like the whole hip hop talent show thing. It's like it's kind of hard to subject yourself to judging when you're making the music that you want to make or putting out your best effort to be judged by three people that don't necessarily get your vibe off of one song or off of, I don't know. It's just kind of, I've never really liked that idea, the whole America's Got Talent type thing, or I don't know. So when people were hitting me up to do it or to submit for it, I was kind of hesitant because that's like not my style at all. And however, I was like, well, fuck it. Like, these people are sending it to me. Let me at least like look at it. Let me check it out. It's on Netflix. It's you know, the host, you know, Chance the Rapper, I'm a big fan of, and of course Cardi B is a humongous artist, and T.I. as well. So it had like some credibility there where I was like, well, maybe it would be a cool opportunity and shit. So I looked at the website, looked at the submission form or the application or whatever the fuck it was, and I started to fill it out. And I got about, 75% through this damn form or whatever, and just kind of realized like they're asking me a lot of shit about, my life and tragic things that have happened and the moment that my life changed, or it's like really like questions where I was like, they really aren't like caring too much about the talent. They have to make good TV, so they need a sob story. And the more that I was like filling this thing out, I was kind of just like, man, I don't feel like, I kind of have a fucking sad story, from my past that I could definitely use in this situation. But I felt like a little like, just like, it just wasn't genuine. I was like, I feel like I'm like milking this a little bit, like kind of trying to use it as a crutch more than like telling my story. And I feel weird about things like that. I don't want to ever, when I made Old Soul in a Young Body, all those were like genuine emotions that I was feeling at the time that I needed to get out. And for me to like go back to certain topics on that album just in hopes of like capturing that same I lost my damn train of thought. I lost my train of thought, guys. God damn it. But yeah, I'd feel like weird if I was using that as a tool to try and like gain an audience or reach an audience, and I didn't feel, I don't know, and just it just wasn't fucking genuine to me, guys. Okay, so I would feel cheap about like doing certain shit like that, and yeah, I don't remember what I was talking about. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, Jesus Christ. Motherfucker. What was I talking? Buck, you want to remind me what I was talking about? Because I can't remember. So yeah, I was filling out the submission form, got about 3/4 of the way through, and just realized, like, just had the feeling like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think me using this story or, trying to like glorify, my past that I'm not necessarily trying to like put out there every fucking step of the way to use that to my benefit. I just felt like kind of weird about that. And yeah, so just had the feeling like, this shit isn't for me. And I think I said on, a couple episodes ago that my friends have been watching it, or like KON watched it and he was like, oh, you should have done it, bro. Like you would have killed it on that or whatever. So I've been meaning to watch it now that it's out. And also there was a couple other reasons that I didn't submit. They wanted, it was like a couple like rap things, like you had to maybe do a rap video, which obviously I could do, but I don't know, maybe I was sick or something. I don't know. There were some excuses that I made as to why I didn't finish filling out that submission form. And I think I said in a couple episodes ago that I was just like, I think now I wouldn't I wouldn't let that fucking stray me away from filling it out and just seeing what happens, because something's got to fucking happen. I've been at this for too fucking long for me to play it safe. And so yeah, I think I would definitely anyways, let's get into the show. So I'm not going to do like a crazy recap over it, but I've been meaning to watch it, and I ended up fucking binge watching this show, and KON even came over and we watched like a couple episodes together. So that's always jokes and good times. But I really fucking enjoyed the show. As much as I wanted to hate on it, you know, without seeing it, as much as there was a lot of sad story stuff. There was a lot of, which is fine. You know, like I said, you have to make good TV and you have to build these backstories. But some of it was like almost unnecessary, where it was just like, it would be random conversations and these sad stories would get brought up within the conversation. And it seemed like people were just kind of using those sad stories to get camera time. And that goes back to what I was saying about, I just don't feel comfortable like doing that. And there was a couple moments like that where I was just like, okay, with the fucking with the damn sad stories, man. And it's like I said, I can't blame them for it. They had to make good TV, and it made for decent fucking TV, or decent Netflix. I don't really know if that's TV anymore. I guess you watch it on your TV. Well, I don't. I watch it on my computer. So anyway, they had to make a decent reality show, I suppose. But no, I thought it was really well done. Not being corny in something like that, having a rap hip hop fucking reality show contest. It could be very corny very fast. You know, it could just, you know, it could be super cheesy, super like industry gimmicky, and they did a super good job on what they were having these artists do. I thought like the challenges or whatever, that it was like, you know, they have to get in a cypher. Well, first it's like the auditions, and it was like California, New York, Atlanta, and Chicago, and they did auditions and picked however many artists they pick. And then they have like the people that pass the auditions do like a cypher. Then they have the people that make it past the cypher do like a battle. Then the people who make it past the battle do they make a song, or they make, I can't remember the order of this shit. And then they the once it gets deeper, it's like they do a song, then they do a music video, then they do a verse on an already popular artist's song, and then they perform that live. And then the finale was like this big like performance of, they called it like, oh, you're gonna make your dream song. I don't know if that's what everybody made, but you know, it was like they worked with a big producer and made this huge performance. They had to design the fucking stage background and all that kind of stuff. So and the choreography and all kind of shit like that. It was kind of like if this was your Grammy performance or whatever. So yeah, it was a really cool show. I was entertained, to say the least. There were some really good people on there. There's definitely a lot of talent. Even like as far as I was watching with KON, he's like, Sifu, like, don't you think you could? He's like, if you would have got here, what would you have done? And honestly, I was kind of trying to think the same thing. Like, I don't fucking know how well I would do in a situation like that. These dudes are the challenges, like I said, there's a lot of them, and they're all like you get like one day to like write this battle verse for this guy, or you get one day to make this song and then perform it the next day. And I'm sure I could put myself to the test, you know? And I was kind of thinking about that, like, oh, it's kind of an interesting thought, like to how far I think I would have made it in a show like that. I was like, I don't know if I would have made it past the fucking auditions at the start, because I don't know the criteria that they were really looking for as far as picking people and what song I might have done. And, you know, song selection is a big thing. They were very critical over certain things, like hearing the judges, and that goes back to like, it's hard to subject myself to being judged in, you know, in a fucking live audience on a TV show or like all that shit. It's kind of, it's different. So yeah, all my homies were like, well, I guess not all my homies, but the two homies that have watched any of it were just like, oh, you would kill it on there. And if there's a season 2, maybe I'll fucking sign up. Maybe I'll go through with filling out the submission this next time, because I actually did enjoy the fucking show. And the like the final 4 contestants are gaining like, I mean, the dude that fucking won is so damn good, and he deserved to win by far. Like, it was almost not fair. He was clearly like the most artistically advanced, you know. He was definitely the most like musically put together. And shout out to D Smoke, that was his name. He was very tight. And then turns out his brother is Sir from TDE, which is Kendrick Lamar's, or the independent label that Kendrick Lamar and Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, all those people are signed to. And his brother is a part of that label. So it makes sense that his style is sort of the way it is, and he's also that talented because it fucking runs in the family, apparently. And there also could have been a little bit of a shoe-in with him there. I don't know what kind of label connections he has if his brother is a part of a label like that. I don't know if that wasn't mentioned or what his, you know, connections to the industry are. But he was very fucking talented. His music is really dope. Very, like, Kendrick Lamar kind of style and shit. And he deserved to win. He pulled out on that final performance. He pulled out fucking playing the piano and rapping along to it, and then went into his song. It was really fucking good. But yeah, I was like, oh, I probably would have lost to that alone. Like, he just comes out, starts playing piano, and fucking, you know, shows a different level to this shit. I was like, you know, I probably would have lost in the long run. But the, you know, main finalists or whatever are getting like a crazy amount of popularity after doing a show like that. And so even if I were to fucking go on this show and not win, but, you know, hopefully got to like one of the later rounds, because I would have smoked like the cypher thing, the fucking battle thing, I would have fucking killed. And then once it starts to get into like the music video thing and the, which is tight because they like gave him a budget to do music videos and shit. And that's where I started to be more like, I wonder how I would approach like doing a video that represents where I'm from or whatever the fucking challenge was. Or how would I work with this producer, and how would I design a fucking, you know, set performance and shit with the background and the choreography and the shit like that. I've never really thought that far. So it was an interesting thought. And yeah, like I said, if there's a season 2 and it's like open for submissions again, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll shoot my shot and see what happens. Because it's another thing, it was just super inspirational to like watch all of this like hungry talent trying to make something happen. And yeah, it was inspirational for me to watch, even if not everybody on it was, you know, so great, but just seeing the talent pool out there and just how many people are trying to do the same thing that I'm doing, and you know, a lot of touching stories, of course. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty damn good show. Maybe I was just high and fucking needed something to watch, but but yeah, I did actually. I enjoyed it. Bravo, Netflix. Well done. But and like a lot of the people that were on the show already have like built some sort of name for themselves. So I was like, oh, I've heard that fool before in a cypher. I've heard this dude. I've heard of that name. Like they're kind of not super established, but people that have been grinding and you know, doing their thing for a while. So it's kind of cool to see like that they were picking, like, I don't know, just it seemed like a really dope opportunity. And you know, that's notoriety, that's like recognition of like, oh, you were the dude on the fucking Netflix show. So kind of regret not finishing the application or the submission form or whatever, but also don't think I was in the right headspace to do something like that. And now it's a little bit different of a thing. I'm up for the challenge, you know. If give me a day to fucking battle somebody, I'm gonna not like rap battle in that situation. And that's like when I saw that, I was like, oh, some of these dudes like don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to the rap battle portion of this. And you know. So I'm like, yeah, let me do the cypher, let me do the battle. Let me try the music video. It seemed, I don't know. And I talk all this shit about wanting to direct and come up with ideas and shit. Maybe I could have done well in the music video thing, but being put on the spot like that to have to deliver in a day is a lot of pressure. And I don't know that they had a day to actually do that now that I'm thinking about it, but it was pretty fast. That's like all the people that I've heard talk about it. I've been watching like a bunch of interviews from the winner and the contestants and shit. And they're like, no, you have like a day. You have like the night they tell you about the challenge, the next day, and then the day after you're fucking performing the song that you just made or whatever. So I'm like, damn, that's fucking dedication and shit. Or not, like you have to be fully like focused, fully concentrated on that shit, because there's a lot of people stumbling, forgetting lines, forgetting this and this, and I don't fucking blame them if you're doing it you know, that fast. So I don't know. I'm up for the challenge. Do I think I was better than some of the people that were on the fucking thing? Yeah. Do I think I would have won? Probably not. But do I think I could have fucking... At least I would have tried. I don't know what I think would have fucking happened, but at least I could have tried. So, season 2, we'll see what the fuck happens. We'll see if I can fill out a form. I wonder if it'll be like the same judges or I don't know. Anyway, wonder if it'll be like the same challenges that they had to do. Who knows? Anyway, so I watched that show and I was pretty been pretty fascinated with it. Fascinated? Infatuate? No, that's too much. Just like I really got into the show. I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. And then I would watch like, oh, let me listen to these artists that are on the show. Let me see what they were doing before they were on the show or what they're doing now. You know, it was kind of like just this whole little untapped world. Listen to the interviews of them talk about the show and, you know, how the preparation and how, you know, how all that went. And just kind of giving me any type of motivation to want to do it if it comes back. And it seems like it's getting a really good response. So I'd imagine they are going to do another season. And I'll probably have to go to like LA or something to audition if I make the audition. But, you know. Yeah, KON. There's like 2 white dudes that make it like kind of far and shit. And KON's like, see, you could have been one of those. You're so much better than the 2 white guys that are on the show. You could have totally took one of their places. I'm like, thanks, KON. Means a lot, dude. But, yeah, I don't know. I would have tried it. I'll try it, guys. If the opportunity rises again and I can fucking fill out the submission, I'll do it just to see what happens, you know? Maybe I won't make it past the first fucking audition, but it's worth a shot at this point. At this point, anything's worth a fucking shot. And that's where I'm at with it. So yeah. How long have we been talking? 30 minutes. Already almost as long as the last episode was. See? I just need like one thing to talk about and I can ramble for 20 minutes about it. But when I'm just high and blanking out, although that definitely happened earlier in this episode. And I'm not as high as I was last week. I didn't smoke right before the podcast. I smoked earlier today, but I was like, I can't smoke right before the podcast again because I'm going to be too fucked up. And still had a complete fucking brain fart and just blanked out. And I'm going to leave it in there. I was really thinking I'm going to cut that out. Probably not going to. You get all my fucking mishaps. It's all off the dome with Domes Gage over here. Best podcast in the world. You know the fucking deal. You know the vibes. Best content ever. And the best content comes from when I'm fucking blanking out. So you get what you get. That's been a motto on this podcast for a few episodes now. You get what you get. So yeah. domesgage.com/shop for the merch. Go and get you a t-shirt. Anyway. Switch gears here for a second. What else did I do this week? I was working on a lot of music actually this last week. I was making a lot of beats. I say I haven't I think I said this like in one of the last episodes, like, oh, I haven't really been making beats. It's like, no, I do make a lot of beats. It just feels like I don't. If I don't do it for a week, I'm like, well, what the fuck? I wasn't doing anything for a week. And anyway, been making a lot of beats this last week. Like I said, I was pretty inspired by that show, and it made me like, you know, want to write some songs or work on some music. And I kind of have this EP that I've been talking about since the fucking start of this podcast. I went back. I was like, how long have I been talking about the fucking EP? I'm like, probably since episode 1 or 2 or something. And so I have this EP that I need to finish. So it's kind of holding me back from like really trying to put my focus in like new music that much, because I know I have this project that needs to be finished that I've made a little bit of progress on and still dropping before the end of the year. I made that promise to myself and to you guys. So EP is still coming, but it's hard for me to like fully work on new songs because I know I have that little bit of weight on my shoulders. And so I've been making just a lot of beats, not really focusing on the raps too much and or, you know, writing the lyrics to it right now. But I've been making a lot of beats. I just got like in a zone where I was like, oh, I feel like fucking producing. I feel like making some, because that's always how it starts. I always like make a ton of beats, then I forget about those beats that I make, and then when I'm like in writer mode and songwriting mode, I go and I look at fucking all the files that I've stacked up over the last few months and been like, damn, I forgot about this one, and that's how my process kind of works sometimes. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. Just just making a lot of beats this last week, and got some pretty cool ones. So had to be somewhat productive. I was getting too high, and I was just like, dude, I have to do something. And the first time I tried to make beats again while I was smoking weed, I was like, dude, this is not, it's not working. My brain was not working for a good, like, fucking 8 or 9 days there. And this last couple days, I feel like I'm getting a grip on reality again. And so yeah, made a lot of beats, did a little bit of work on the EP, just a little bit of mix work, nothing too crazy. I have a couple parts that I still need to re-record, and I'm fucking procrastinating like a motherfucker. I'm putting it off, and I think I keep putting it off because it's such little details that I need to do, and that's always the most annoying things for me when it comes to the fine-tuning and all that shit. I hate like finishing shit, apparently. I have a hard time finishing shit, I should say. And we're going to get it finished. It's going to come out. Yeah. Somebody asked if I could give a preview of one of the songs, and I can. I don't know that I'll do it this week because I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. But I'll give you guys a preview of one of the songs, or maybe do like a countdown kind of thing. Give you a preview of a song No, I don't know. I got to figure out when the shit I got to figure out my dates again. Got to get everything mapped out a little bit. Stick to the plan. But yeah, I'll give you guys some previews. You guys get all the exclusives on the podcast. So I'll figure out a way to do it. I could just play it from my phone, but it's going to sound like shit. So maybe I could put it in. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I was thinking about going live on like Instagram or something. Or maybe I could just go live. No, I don't know how that works. On YouTube. I don't fucking know how it works. Anyway, speaking of going live, this month is November. And if anybody has followed me for the last 4 years, I've done a thing. I think I've done 4. Yeah, because this would be 5. Every year, I do something called Write My Verse, where I have you guys leave comments, and with words and topics that you want me to rap about, and I take those comments and I implement them into a verse. And I record it, shoot a video for it, put it out. And I've done 4 of those. I actually don't know. I think the last one came out like around Christmas, so not every November, but it was like a November thing. We started it like on Thanksgiving, 4 years ago, and it's every November. Whenever November comes around, I'm like, oh shit, it's Write My Verse season. I got to do another Write My Verse. And so yeah, Write My Verse 5, I'm going to have to do. And I had this idea that I thought would be really fucking fun, or maybe really hard, but a little test to myself, and also it'd be fun to interact with you guys. But I had the idea of going live for the creation of Write My Verse 5. So I don't know if I would do it on Instagram or do it on YouTube. Instagram seems like it would be a lot easier. YouTube, I could probably figure out a way to do it as well. So I don't know. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me at Domes Gauge. If you have an Instagram, if not, be like, I don't have an Instagram, and go live on YouTube. But yeah, I had the idea of doing Write My Verse 5 live. And that would just mean I could go through the beats that I have. You guys can help me pick the beat that I'm going to do Write My Verse 5 over. I can go through the comments that are already there, and I can kind of go through the words, and you guys can sort of help me and say, yeah, pick those. And also you would be able to add new words live, and I would be able to look at the words that you're adding and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to use that one. And I would have to write the verse. I would have to make the whole write my verse live while you guys are watching. And at least like the meat and potatoes of it all. I don't know if I would do like the recording and the video part live. Maybe I could, but as far as like picking the beat, writing the verse, I could probably record it while still being on live. Because I would still want like the original video or the main video, like how I've done it for the past 4 years. I have like the standalone, 2-minute video of just the rap. So I would still be doing that, but also I would have, just like a fucking live stream session of me talking to you guys, getting suggestions and words from you guys live in the chat, live on the comments. And I would have to write my verse, number 5. I'd have to write my verse all right there. And then maybe I could rap it, record it live. I just thought that would be such a cooler way of interacting with you guys, and also just a different way to sort of spice things up for this year's Write My Verse. And it also happens to rhyme, Write My Verse 5 live. So if you guys are down with that, if you think that would be a dope idea and would be down to tune in either live here on YouTube or live on Instagram to help me create Write My Verse 5, let me know in the comments below. Say, hell yeah, Write My Verse 5 live! ! And I've actually had that idea of going live for one of these Write My Verses for probably a couple years now. And I think now it's just maybe a better time with all the social medias and with the podcast. I got people that might want to tune in and contribute to Write My Verse 5. So that's a thought. That's an idea. That's off the dome with Dome's Gauge. All right. Should we pull out these questions and get the damn episode over with? We're at 43 minutes. It's not bad. It's not bad. I was going to talk about Drake getting booed at this, at Tyler, the Creator's Flog Gnaw Festival or whatever. But that seems a little bit too, I was going to relate it to like how it's crazy that you can be such a big artist and still like have that, like fucking reality check, I guess, I think he even said something about it. Like, anyway, if for anybody that doesn't know what the fuck happened, that makes no sense at all. Drake was the surprise guest at Tyler, the Creator's festival, and I guess those fan bases don't really mix that well, or the festival was waiting to see Frank Ocean or something, and Drake came out as the surprise guest, and fucking people booed him. And Drake is like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, hip hop artist. With a very, a lot of people fucking like Drake, man. Like, I guess there's haters, but a lot of people like him, and so he got booed, and I don't know. Everybody's making a big deal about it over on the internet today, and I just saw that, so. I was going to talk about it, then I'm like, nah, it doesn't really pertain to my life, other than the fact that it's crazy that you can be humbled at even such a big stature in the rap game, or in the rap community, or whatever I'm trying to say. It's kind of like there was this old video of Jay-Z on the train, I want to say, and there's like cameras filming him, and there's like this super old lady, and like who has absolutely no clue who he is, and is like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? You know, kind of thing. And you could see Jay-Z is like, man, I haven't heard somebody like say like, who are you, in fucking a long time or whatever. So, yeah, you can still be humbled when you're that fucking successful, I suppose. And that was a complete sidetrack because has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with the Off the Dome with Dome's Gauge podcast, but we go off on rants sometimes. That's what we do. Oh, I wanted to talk about this comment that somebody left. He told me, he said, bruh, you need to get on that 5 Fingers of Death, which is Sway in the Morning. It's like a freestyle thing. It's a radio. For people that don't know, it's on Shade 45, satellite radio. Sway in the Morning, OG hip-hop interviewer and more. And he has a radio show called Sway in the Morning, and he has something called 5 Fingers of Death, where they play 5 beats and the people rap over it. And I totally agree that I need to do that. That's something I hella want to do, and that's kind of what I responded to him in the comments. I said, one day for sure, you know, that's definitely something I want to do. I just have to keep grinding. I don't know. Some people think like doing certain things is just a lot fucking easier than it is. Like I can reach out to Sway and be like, hey man, let me get on the 5 Fingers of Death. Like I don't think it really works like that. So, you know, when my time comes, it'll come. And I want to do all of that shit though. Like all of the Sway in the Morning, the fucking Funk Flex freestyle, the BET ciphers, I want to do all like the rapping ass shit, you know? And that goes back to, you know, me talking however many episodes ago about just being versatile and making a bunch of different sounds of music. No matter what sound of music I make, that rap muscle will always be something I'll be able to flex, and always, like, even if I have a song, that's what I always thought, like, even if I had a song that, let's say, fucking blew up and got big, and it's more melody driven, and it's not me, like, rapping the hardest 16 bars or whatever, I would still go to these radio stations and go on these ciphers and all this shit and show that I can still fucking rap and flex that muscle, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I don't know, I was thinking about that, where I was just like, I'll always do the rapper thing, no matter what other kind of music I you know, venture into. And not to say that the shit I'm doing now isn't rap music. It's just there's a lot more shit that's more melody driven and not worried about rhyming 15 syllables every verse and shit. But sometimes I do. And that's why I've been doing those little freestyles, because I'm like, oh, I can really like show my lyrical ability, I suppose, and showcase the rap skills. Kind of use those little freestyles, like the Money in the Grave freestyle, kind of use those as my 5 Fingers of Death right now, because I can't do those. Because I can't do any of the big shit yet. But don't get it twisted. I definitely want to. So, one day. Like, there was a few people that were on this Rhythm and Flow show that have already done BET freestyles and shit like that, like kind of already making a name for themselves. So I'm just like, you know, just got to keep grinding, I think. And, you know, got to keep grinding, got to stay positive, and just got to work hard. And I always get like fucking gassed up before the year ends, you know. I'm like, okay, next year we're gonna, and I've said that too many damn times to say like next year's the year we're gonna fucking, you know, double down and work harder and do more. And I get tired of telling myself that, honestly, every year. I get tired of telling myself that when I start so positive and then towards, you know, halfway through the year, you're like, oh yeah, the plan didn't really pan out now, did it? And I don't know. Maybe if I stop smoking weed next year, maybe we'll see a difference. Maybe we'll see a change in work ethic. And I work on this shit a lot, but I think really like there's more to it than just making the music. And so I don't know. Not trying to get all deep before the end of this podcast. But I guess this is the place to fucking do that now, isn't it? So anyway, guys. Anyway. Oh shit, we got a special guest question. I didn't even see this one. Jack Fraser, which is my sister's fiance, which it might have even been my sister who wrote this comment, so I'll take it either way. One of them asks, what are some artists you listen to that aren't rappers? Which is a good question because I listen to a lot of fucking listen to a lot of rap music. But I like Sia a lot. I think I talked about her in a previous episode about, I can't remember what I talked about with her. Like the rebranding, artists rebranding and shit. Anyway, I'm a big Sia fan. I like her a lot. Somebody asked me on Twitter, like, what is one artist you would want to collab with? And Sia, by far, she's top of the list. I don't have many that are up there, especially rappers. Like, if we talk like singers or you know, stuff like that, I have a lot of artists that I could work with or would want to work with, but Sia's definitely at the top of the list. And one day I'll make it happen. But yeah, what are other like singers and shit that I listen to? Right now I'm really into Billie Eilish's brother, Phineas. Billie Eilish is actually pretty cool too. I recently got into her, as you can tell because I did that freestyle on her beat. But her brother is actually like the producer and songwriter for a lot of her music, and that made me check out his music, and I like that shit a lot. So I like him. You know, I've gone through my Ed Sheeran phase where I listen, but even Ed Sheeran can fucking rap if he wants to. And that kind of like brings me back to what I was saying about being versatile, like as a hip hop artist. Like even so much hip hop music, it's like hard to call some of these people rappers. Like they're not necessarily like rapping. A lot of their shit is more melody based, more singing over hip hop beats. And like it's hard to call somebody like a Post Malone or a Juice WRLD a straight rapper because they're not really rapping on a lot of these songs. It's a lot of singing over hip hop style beats. So I listen to a lot of people like that where it's like, I don't know if you'd classify them as a rapper, but also hip hop is their genre. So I don't know. That's as of right now, I haven't been listening to much other than hip hop though. Mike Posner. I'm a big Mike Posner fan, even though he can fucking rap as well. He's sort of like a singer rapper at the same time. There's a lot of those that I'm fans of that can also rap. John Bellion, I like him a lot. He's like a singer but can also rap really well when he wants to. And so I'd like to be the opposite. I'd like to be a rapper that can sing really well if he wants to, or at least sing decent enough to pass it, you know, over songs and make it sound good because, yeah, anyway. Hot Dog Kisser, we'll get to your questions and then end this episode so I can get it edited and all that good stuff. Because it's now getting pretty late and I still have to get it up today because I'm fucking slacking. Anyway, Hot Dog Kisser asks. Okay, he's got 2 questions for me. We'll answer this. We'll answer this first one. I don't really know. All right, my bad. Okay, Hot Dog Kisser asks, what's the best revenge you ever had on somebody? Could be a funny friend story. Hot Dog Kisser, you be fucking racking my brain, dude, having me trying to be like, think of childhood memories and shit. What's the best revenge I've ever had on somebody? That's so fucking cynical, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, like when I was young, me and my homies used to fucking do dumb shit to each other when we were sleeping, like draw on each other and other things. So there was some revenge there. But that was kind of just like kids being dumb kids and just nothing worth mentioning. I don't have many like revenge stories, man. I'm trying to fucking trying to be a successful artist so I can fucking shove it in all the faces of the people that thought I would never make that happen. Then that'll be revenge. They say what is the revenge quote? I'm gonna fuck it up and shit. It's like success is the best revenge or some shit like that, right? Something like that. Am I tripping here? Let me just Google that and see if that's a thing. Yeah, success is the best revenge. Okay. See, I knew there was a saying. I knew it the whole time. So yes, I'm trying to get successful on all these fucking haters, dog. And that'll be revenge. What's the other one? Like revenge is a dish best served cold. Is that something too? I'm trying to rack my brain for all revenge quotes here. Is that something? Hold on. I don't know what that fucking means. Revenge is best served cold, dude. Revenge is a dish best served cold. What does it mean? Oh my God, it's a lot to read. What does it mean? While it's still, hold on, delayed. An old, widely used phrase expressing the sentiment that revenge that is delayed and executed well after the heat of anger has dissipated is more satisfying than. Oh, okay, got you. It's like fucking delayed reaction kind of thing. Wait until they least expect it, then you fucking Game of Thrones them. I've never seen one episode of Game of Thrones, so that reference probably doesn't make any sense, but stab them or something, or I'm sure people got stabbed in that show. If not, then fucking terrible show is that. Now, never seen an episode. Don't sue me, guys, or don't fucking kill me for not knowing about the damn dragons. Okay. If you have any other revenge quotes, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Hot Dog Kisser asks, what are your top 5 podcasts you listen or watch to? Listen or watch to? Listen to or watch? Sorry, I'm a fucking grammar Nazi. Hot Dog Kisser. I should have done that one first and then oh well, whatever. Too late to go back now. what are my top 5 podcasts that I listen to? It's so hard. Anytime someone asks me what my favorite something is or top 5, whatever, I have no answer. But I'll give you a bunch of podcasts that I listen to, I suppose. I like a lot of comedians' podcasts. I'm a big comedy fan. I listened to This Past Weekend with Theo Vaughn. That's one of my favorites. I listened to Congratulations with Chris D'Elia. I listened to H3 podcast. I listened to Tiger Belly. I listened to Joe Rogan occasionally. I listened to Your Mom's House with Tom Segura and his wife Christina. I listen to like all the comedians' podcasts pretty consistently. Most of them, at least. Some of them I'll only catch an episode once in a while, but Theo Vaughn's I'm pretty damn consistent. Chris D'Elia's I'm pretty damn consistent. If we're talking more on like the hip hop side, I listen to the Joe Budden podcast. I listen one of my favorite podcasts actually. But I just don't fucking keep up on it enough. But one of my favorite hip hop podcasts is called A Waste of Time with It's the Real. They do really good interviews. They interview really good people, really dope artists, and interesting people like managers and people behind the scenes as well. And it's kind of interesting to hear people's stories. I've learned a lot from listening to their podcast. So that's one of my favorite like hip hop podcasts. It's called A Waste of Time with It's the Real. And they don't have a video element. Theirs is just audio. So maybe that's why I listen to it less often. I like watching, but I was big on it for a good minute a year or two ago. And I've been keeping up with it every once in a while. Usually when I go out of town or something and have to kill time on a road trip, put on It's the Real or put on A Waste of Time. So that's one of my favorite like hip hop podcasts. Really recommend that. What other like rappers or like kind of hip hop oriented? Yeah. I don't know. That's a good list. But my favorite podcast and the best podcast in the world is right here, Off the Dome with Dome's Gage, baby. So fuck all those other podcasts I was talking about. Just listen to mine. Listen to this one. That's all that matters. If you're listening to this one, you're already tuned into the best podcast there is. So you guys know the fucking deal. Buck agrees. All right, let's wrap this damn episode up. We made it past an hour this week. That's what I'm talking about. Even with the fucking blank out, made it past an hour, so. What do you think, Buck? You think this was a better episode than last week? Buck thinks all the episodes suck. He's like, I mean, I guess it's better than last week, but that's not saying much. All these fucking episodes are trash. Just you fucking rambling at the damn camera about nonsense. Shut up, phone. You're not anybody important. All right, guys. I guess that concludes. That's the end of the damn episode. We're going to wrap it up right here. This has been episode 15 of Off the Dome with Dome's Gage. Make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and leave questions for next week for me to answer. And I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. We'll be back with another one next week, because that's how we do. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Peace.